Hello, how's everybody? I thought I'd just get on. I've been hearing all of this, you know, saga going back and forth about Supergirl, this movie, and how the woke society, is now against females and empowerment, and that we just not ready for a superhero that's led, or a movie led by a woman, where we've had it for many, many, moons now. We had definitely Wonder Woman, from which no one can say that that character with that actress, I'm not even going to drop the name because, it's not even needed, but sometimes you have the right actress for the part. And all of these excuses that are coming out of Warner Brothers and everywhere else to really shine a bad light on our society, versus this was just really a horrible movie. And I think people need to, get to the point where they can wrap their head around it was just a horrible movie. And I'll take it back, because everybody want to say that Superman, was a great success, and that movie was horrible too. I will tell you, it didn't have the look, the feel, or anything of past Superman movies. It just didn't. I used to get, chills and bumps, because I'm a Superman fanatic. He's my, favorite superhero of all time, ever since I was a kid. I'm over 54 years old now, and I still love Superman. Hated that Superman movie, and it was the first Superman movie, that didn't get me to the point where I had goosebumps and was like really, excited, about what was happening on screen. And it just never got me there. I was waiting for it and waiting for it and waiting for it, and it just didn't happen. Now, there's two things that's going on with Supergirl, because this is what I want to talk about. Two problems. The script was horrible, and the actress, her acting wasn't horrible, but she was horrible for the role. And I need y'all to understand that. It is sometimes you have a great actor, actress, whatever, and they do a kick-ass job of acting, but they are just not the right actress, actor for the role. Sometimes they just don't connect right with the role that they're doing. And that's the best way that I can describe what's going on right now. She acted, her acting was good. I wouldn't say it was great, but what if she was the right character for the part, then maybe, even with a bad, script, for the movie, that it could have been, a decent movie, because at least you could connect with her as being Supergirl. No one could connect with this, individual playing this role. She just was the wrong individual for the role. And it wasn't about woke. It wasn't about making her so that, as she was saying, she has queer friends. I'm like, what does that mean? Is she able, beyond anybody else, to call people queer, and get away with it? Though it's just, I don't know. It's just not conducive to the type of superhero that Supergirl is. Yeah, Supergirl is supposed to be a little bit more detached, from, reality than Superman, because her experiences and his experiences have been two different, experiences. And so she's going to be rough around the edges because she didn't get that, upbringing of the Kents to mold her and everything, from which Superman should be trying to do with her, versus just saying she's automatically Supergirl because she's from Krypton, right? Or that she's she's his cousin, her cousin. So I can't get my hands wrapped around the fact that everybody want to make excuses for this horrible movie. The movie was set up for failure from Superman, right? Here you have James Gunn trying to come out with this new, movie, and supposed to, been, slated to come out and really set this thing off. And he really came out with Superman, which to me wasn't a really good, movie from which they could build a Supergirl from. It really wasn't. And I don't know, from the Superman suits that they have here, it's just, I know they're trying to do the nostalgia of, the old comic and all of that stuff, but all of it just not working. It's just not working. None of it's working. And Superman Man of Tomorrow, if they make it, is going to be a horrible movie because it's still based off this same foundation, which is not a great foundation at all, right? So Supergirl, without even a script, was set up for failure because of Superman not being a good movie. And the best way that I can describe Superman and Supergirl, both of these movies, and I'm telling y'all, I want you to really think hard about this, because I tell you, I'm going to hit it on the nail from which this thing is, right? These two movies, I'm going to hit it on the nail. And if you put in the comments, please let me know if I'm like spot on what these two movies are, right? Both of these movies, to me, seems like it was a made for movie cartoon that they made live action or something like that, right? It's like a cartoon script. It's like a cartoon movie, right? That you don't really expect a lot from, and you can accept it, because it's a cartoon, right? And so there's really not a whole lot of hype and everything behind, what a cartoon Superman Warner Brothers movie has to be. So to me, that's what these two movies are like. It's like they got scripts from a cartoon, version of a Superman and tried to make it a real movie, from which it doesn't work. And it's like, Gunn, you got paid all this money and you tried to go the cheap route and make us a movie from which you didn't really want to put a lot of emphasis in to really come up with a real story plot, script that is going to make us like wowed. Nobody was wowed by Superman. Everybody went to see it because of the hype behind Zack Snyder and what it was going to be and all of this. I'm going to tell you right now, Zack Snyder's, version of Superman is 10 times better than both of these two movies, Superman and Supergirl, that belongs to Gunn. You haven't got nowhere near the popularity of what Zack Snyder's Superman is today. People still wanting that movie or his vision of that to be finalized, when nobody is really thinking about what the hell the Superman Man of Tomorrow, whatever the hell it's going to be, it's going to become, or what it's going to be. Nobody cares. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's like, oh, I can't wait for the next version of Gunn's movie, of Superman to come out. Nobody cares. So at the end of the day, this is not about anyone dumping on females not being able to lead or be in a lead role of a superhero and not be accepted or supported. She is the wrong character. No, not the wrong character, excuse me. She's the wrong actress to play this part. She just they made an error when they chose her. She was not the best person for the role because she never connected with that person. It just wasn't there. Like, no, right? And number two, just a bad script. Everything about Supergirl is about this damn dog. Same thing with Superman, about this damn dog. What's so important about this dog? Jesus Christ. Give us a movie. Like, we love that you put crypto in there, And listen, but it can't be about crypto. Every movie can't be about him. Jesus Christ, that's the best gun that you could come up with. The best story line that you could figure out in your mind to give us was, we need to save this dog. Twice. The first one, Lex, where's the dog? Superman's coming unhinged because of a dog. Everything else is going on in the world. He can't come unhinged, but he's going to come unhinged by the dog. Supergirl. The dog is going to die. I need to go get an antidote. And that's what the movie's about. And then the side story was a chick. The side story was a chick. The family was killed, and she wanted revenge. That's not big enough for her to go. But because the dog is dying, now she's going to go, and that's more important than anything else. What kind of friggin' chop suey type nonsense is this? Stop making this about the woke and all this other stuff. We got enough of politics and all that stuff going on. Warner Brothers, y'all made poo-poo. Y'all made some poo-poo. That's what it is. The movie is poo-poo. So at the end of the day, it's not about anything else other than that. I'm not putting this young lady down. Like I said, I wasn't going to say names and all this stuff, but I'll say names for the actual producers, not the actors and actresses that are in these movies, because they did put their all into them, and I'm not going to criticize them, and from that perspective. But I'm just saying, these two movies, both of them, are horrible. They will never have a following like Zack Snyder's version, right? At this point, I would say Zack Snyder needs to be allowed to finish what he started. It's 10 times better than what these storylines are right now that he's dealing with, that we're dealing with, that's coming out of Warner Brothers. And he should be given a full budget to finish, what his vision of that, version of Superman was. Don't get me wrong. Zack Snyder's version, had its flaws. And most movies do, especially when it comes to superhero movies. But at the end of the day, people connected with it. People wanted it. And, you're just not getting the hype. You're not getting the hype. You got more hype because it's Gunn than you have with, the movie itself, right? Because if you take Gunn out of it, and it's the same script, same movie, Superman is, none of them is good, right? Nobody would be talking about it. It'd be like, it's horrible. And we would never got to a Supergirl. But because it was Gunn, and the hype around Gunn coming over from Marvel to DC made it so like everybody was in this hype about him, and he carried the movie. The movie didn't carry itself, and the movie should stand by itself and carry itself. Zack Snyder's movie carries itself. You don't need Zack Snyder, right? So at the end of the day, guys, final word. Horrible script. Horrible script. Wrong actress for the role. And I want to be clear. I'm not talking about her as a person. I am saying wrong actress for the role. She did not connect with the role. She didn't connect with the audience. She didn't connect with anything that resembles what what the normal connection that people would get or see when you see a role from which you say, man, that person was made for that role. She was not made for this role. There's probably some roles out there for her, but this role was not made for her. Hence, just horrible all the way around. I sat there with my niece and my daughter, and we watched this movie, and within the first quarter of the movie, I turned to my niece and said, this is a horrible movie. I didn't even get through it. It was just the first part of it. I said, this is a horrible movie. I sat through the whole thing, but right at the beginning, I was like, this is horrible. What the hell is this? This is horrible. And I was hyped. Like, what's this? I was like, they're going to redeem themselves from Superman. Let's go. So, that's what it is for me. Peace out, and we'll wait to see what's going to come out next, because I'm still Superman, to the end. And so, yeah. Thanks for listening. All right.